Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the ITAM Kitchen, the place where we have a lot of fun talking about all sorts of asset management topics. And today we have Deanna and Rob back with us, which I appreciate you guys being here. And we have another topic. And I love the background. So we actually have an audience in the background right there on screen. I love it. I love it when dogs come. It's all great. So it's all good. But today is about the 30-second elevator pitch. Whether you're talking to executives, you talk about your coworkers, you talk about neighbors, right? And we all struggle with this because as practitioners, specifically asset management, we're data geeks. Keep in mind, we're data geeks. We've talked about, okay, how can we get out of our head to the bigger messaging? And what we're talking about now is not just getting out of our head to bigger messaging. We're talking about the message, right? And I remember, for those who don't know me, Bill Talbot, 30 years in the industry, working with asset management, hardware, software configuration management, worked with multiple different companies. Feel free to look at the LinkedIn profile. Go for it. Bounced around, but I just have a passion. Been doing 30 years. I'm crazy one just continues on, making that happen. And being able to say, how can we help others? That's what this is all about, right? It's kind of like that when we talk about when we go to parties, right? We go to the parties for at our own homes. We always end up around the kitchen island. That's the whole idea here, the kitchen island, how we have that dialogue and we're amongst friends moving forward. If you're online, please put in the please. So I'm pleading with you. Well, sometimes it is like that. Sometimes on social media, but say who you are and say where your contact reaching in from. That's perfectly good. Let's put it out there. So if you have any additional dialogue along the way, make it happen because this is actually a working session. That's the whole bit behind it. Because today's about that 30-second elevator pitch. That pitch to be able to say how we do that next step. But before we dig into that, we'll kick off with a story. Rob, why don't you introduce yourself and Deanna, and then we'll come back around and continue on.
Sure thing, Bill. Thanks. I'm Rob Collins. I'm an individual with 30 plus years of experience within ITAM and IT support in a variety of different silos within there. And 4 years of service in the United States Marine Corps. With that, I'll pass it on to Deanna.
Hi, Deanna Hennigar here, and I too have over 30 plus years within the ITSM field. Mine is working back and forth with major companies and a few times as a consultant. So I've worked from full time to helping you out.
Sounds great. So we're talking about 90 plus years of experience right here on screen, everybody. 90 plus years. And we're still learning ourselves, right? That's the best way to remember. And we're learning ourselves. And it's important for us to learn. Remember, we're in a continual learning process. If you think, okay, we just got that certification, that's it. Hate to tell you, you're not done yet. Yeah, I can say every year for the 30 years, I've learned something new. Probably just about every day, or at least every week, I learn something new all the time. But that's what makes it fun. That's why, okay, we're some of the crazy still around because this is what gets us enticed. This is what keeps the energy up, keeps the enthusiasm, right? Whether we're a practitioner, consultant, intermixed, we actually all have those different skills here right there on screen. And if you only have one part of it or you're brand new to the industry, welcome. Absolutely. But what I want to talk about today, and the reason why we're talking about the elevator pitch, this is kind of part of that treasure map, right? We talk about the roles. We've been putting the roles, put some of this in all the videos, and feel free to look at the previous ones. They're on LinkedIn as well as on YouTube. Probably easier to find on YouTube even than LinkedIn, I'll be brutally honest. But go out to @ITAM Kitchen and connect with that. Please do. And take a look because it's being able to do the next step. Because these are topics you're not hearing anybody else. Trust me, I've been part of those other industry forums, right? Forums, communities, etc. They're not hitting this. They're still doing the asset management one-on-one stuff. And it's like, come on. Let's talk about stuff that are more practical, right? And I'm not trying to slam them. It's time for them to advance too. That's the encouraging, right? And typically they do, which is great. It's amazing. All of a sudden you do something, make it happen. But here's a story I'll start out with, right? It was back in my GE days. Yeah. So there was one time I was walking on the plane and I had my executive to my GE division. I was there, right? And I was GE Services, GE Capital IT Solutions. back in the late 90s. It might have been 2000. Might have been 2000 when I was walking the plane. I saw my new CEO. He's like, "God, it's really cool, et cetera, and great you're on there," because he's a regular traveler. It happens, executives, right? And we started talking about, "Oh, I'm doing asset management, et cetera." He says, "So what's your elevator pitch?" Stumped. I didn't know what to think. I was doing extremely good. I loved who I was working for. I had some great customers I worked for, and they were really pleased. I was stumped. I didn't know how to respond. Forever, I will remember that, because from that, I was tripping over myself. Right? It's like, oh my gosh, how do I present myself to an executive? How do I say the value I can provide? What's that next step? And that's the whole idea behind this, because in the role, it's extremely important to remember that. Not just, again, you can be talking to your kids. What do you do? Oh, I work with computers. We do a little bit. We all struggle with this, right? But how do we talk about whether it's the kids, the neighbors, maybe it's your best friend? They knew you do something with technology. Like I used to work for HP. Everyone thinks I can fix printers. It just happens. But that's where I want us to further dig into this for the next hour and say, make it happen. And we actually have a great example, because we're talking about Deanna. She has some conversations happening in the near future. She says, well, I need to work on this for me. It's like, cool. We have a guinea pig, more than a guinea pig. We have a great friend. And we're going to further refine that. And that's where we want to leverage here on that dialogue. Let's work on this, because when it comes to that elevator pitch, we all struggle. Do not feel alone. If you feel, oh, I'm not going to speak up because I don't want to be out myself. Okay, what else are you lying about? I'm just going to call it out. What else are you lying about? Because we all struggle. I struggle with this sometimes too, right? You think about everything I do, I can't say in 30 seconds. I help people. I bring people together to collectively go to the next step. That's what I figured out what I love to do. That's my true passion. And I just have to be asset management is part of that. And you think about everything about that and what I do, and even the ITAM Kitchen, we're bringing people together. We're having a blast. We're having fun. All the way to the point, literally, I was talking to someone who's been a guest here on the ITAM Kitchen. I was talking to him last night, getting caught up a little bit. He says, Bill, I just got my job. It was awesome, right? He says, by the way, I asked them to make sure I have permission to come back on ITAM Kitchen because I had so much fun. Mm-hmm. That was amazing, right? And I say that because that's the whole idea behind this. I want to bring fun back in ITAM. So with all that being said and done, Deanna, we had your example. And from there, what I like to do is let's hear the elevator pitch, and then we'll just get some collaboration, see how we can further enhance it for you. Will that work?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Wherever you want to take it. I'll hand it over.
Hi, I'm Deanna Henniger, and I've been working with ITAM for over 15 years, and I have about 20 years behind that of service management. I pretty much cut my teeth on a major bank in New York City. The person who's going to hire me wasn't even there, but they gave me the job anyway because of the recruiter. Right. And from there, I just kept enhancing my skills. I did a lot of teaching in corporate and institutional work. And I progressed throughout these different years, learning different things and helping as many people out as I can. Is that 15? I didn't put my stopwatch on.
It's wherever you want to stop. You have as long as you want. It's totally cool.
I've worked everywhere from banking to warehousing, retail, and oil and gas. Mm-hmm. So oil and gas really kind of matters if you're going to be like in Houston area. I don't know where else oil and gas matters. Oh, I do. New Jersey. Matters in Jersey. That's where some refineries are. And I'm all about improving the process.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I'm done.
Okay, cool. Rob, you want to start with your feedback? And I have a couple of comments that immediately come to mind for me too.
The feedback is, it's an explanation basically of the career arc is what I'm hearing. And so this is where I've been, what I've done sort of thing. I think the only other thing I could think of, and it's a criticism that I've received, for instance, and that is that I tend to go way above the 30 seconds and get really wordy. That's me for sure.
Okay.
Right. And that's all part of that neuro spiciness and attention to detail and, trying to be exact and whatnot. But the advice that was given to me, for instance, was in your 30-second pitch, for instance, tell me what you can do for me. Right. So those tend to come off as much shorter statements. Like right now, for instance, if you start, all consultants, I think, start with what are your pain points, right? That begins the conversation. They'll speak, and then you can then examine those pain points, maybe give them an order of those in importance, relay that back, get their feedback. And then from there, tailor the rest of the 30-second pitch around, well, let's address your top three, the things that keep you up at night, and then try and just put a couple of points around what you see is the problem and what you see as the path to a solution. So, and do it like that. This is the first piece of advice I got was back at Motorola, and then one of the great pieces of advice I got was back when I was at DEP, at the Department of Environmental Protection. So, and I've learned an awful lot thanks to those bits of advice along the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, one thing for me when it comes to elevator pitch, and I like where you are, Deanna, but there's also the spirit of it. It's important to, everyone treats energy differently, right? You see me, I always try to keep high energy because that's actually how I've been trained professionally, right? Is trying to keep the high energy up. And what does it for me to do that is I tell a story. Not very long, tell a story. Tell a story how you got to it. For example, for me and my story, as an example, is like, I was an end user support guy. It was a crazy rainy day in Atlanta. Got to the 14th floor of this executive, and I got to my computer, logged on, and I got that email. That email. And it said, the email said, Bill, you're doing awesome on everything you do. Now I want you to track everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I could think to myself, how the hell do I do this, right? But I figured it out. 30 years later, I now help thousands of people go that next step, figure out how they're doing discipline. I didn't just figure out that problem. I figured it out in a very short period of time. So I was able to help like 14 engineers. So I was able to move on to a profession that I never realized existed. Yeah. That's a passion, right? And I don't say that to challenge your story. I actually say that to enhance what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the energy and the enthusiasm because it's you. And that's the important part. I'll put that everybody talking, listening here, right? When you see that, that's the true core you coming out. That's what people need to see because by nature, we're extremely dry. Asset management's extremely dry, right? So if we can say, you know what? We have a really dry topic, but we love it. We're the crazy ones out there that love it. And here's why. And we get excited about it. You know what executives or recruiters or those that are interviewing us are going to say?
Yes.
This person is part of my team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And even the executives, they're looking for this like, oh my gosh, I have an entire staff that you just beat the energy of everybody on them. That's a great compliment, by the way. It's like, you may not be working for me, but I need you somewhere in my portfolio because I need that spirit to be in-house. So it's not just about looking at the role, and that's the important part about the elevator pitch. It's about how you can further enhance it to say, you know what? Where's the pizzazz behind this? I'll just call it that, right? Because you look at that pizzazz, that's what we're looking for. That's the personal touch.
Yeah. The energy.
So I come back on that. So eye contact was great, right? So you're looking at the camera, which is important. A lot of people, sometimes I wonder as well, right? If you're looking at it in person, you're looking at the person, right? Don't stare them down, but just kind of be casual about make sure your energy's there. Get yourself pumped up. We're all nervous, right? Get yourself pumped up. Say, there's a reason why we love what we do. Again, that's the whole idea behind the story. Yeah. And also know your content by heart. We all like to say, okay, we get nervous and we look at sheets. Everybody gets that. That's not a problem. But have a good foundation, say for the first 30 seconds, which we're talking about 30 pitch. Maybe you're doing a 1 minute pitch or whatever it is, right? But that first 30 seconds, you should know by heart. You can talk about, okay, I got into it totally by accident. A trainer. I was that trainer trying to teach IT folks how to do things. And I was struggling. But you know what? I figured out how to make it tick. I got them energized. I got them so they're make it relatable. I had this guy, Deanna, you and I talked about this. I had this guy. He was like this. He didn't learn from me whatsoever until the next day I said something. It cracked him up. He was engaged the rest of the time.
Well, that's good.
Yep. Humor helps at the right time.
Well, it is, but my point, that's a part of your story from the trainer, how you're providing that value. Because if you can find out you can entice people, we need more of that in the world, right? Yeah. Again, that was just some of my immediate feedback. So however you want to leverage that, go for it. But that's my immediate knee-jerk reaction from what I saw. Because when you start thinking about that, incorporating, we also have to realize, and I've gone through this professionally, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Just because of the feedback, and Deanna just got the feedback she did, it's going to take time to process that, right? And maybe you want to try and you want to go out there, absolutely, and do impromptu. This is the forum to do it. No one's going to criticize. I'm totally all. This is a very safe environment on this side, as far as I'm concerned. On social media, who cares what social media thinks? I'll be pretty honest. It's what you think. It's what that core. But where I'm going with that is being able to say, okay, I need time to process this because Bill just said a ton of stuff in 3 minutes, right? Just on feedback. And it might take me 3 hours to process or 3 days. Everyone's a little different. That's okay. Or if you want to do impromptu, go ahead impromptu and do the next version of the elevator pitch. Yeah.
It took me a while to figure out what this thing is I'm really good at. I'm a really good figure-outer. It took me a while to understand that that's just a problem manager. You can see a problem and then address it. Because it took me years to figure out I'm a problem manager. So what I like to do is when I go into your company, our company, sometimes I'll say our company, that I want to find out what your major pain points are first, and let's attack them. From the major pain points, I also need to see what your low-hanging fruit is and see how we can get you feeling as if we are in a win-win situation so that you know I am really helping you out.
Yeah, find your quick wins.
Yeah. Okay, and then from there, one of the things I will work well with are your problem children. Because of my background as a teacher, we need to realign them within what we're doing. Is that better?
I like it. Yeah. But you see how that just enhanced the message.
Okay, yeah.
Right? It just enhanced the message. It made it relatable. You made it to teacher. Everyone's had a teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone's, one way or another, has been a teacher. That's great founding, right? As far as being able to help coordinate and say, I've learned from problems. Everyone deals with problems. Yes. So that's another key word for you, right? So it's very relatable, even from an executive on down. Executives have problems. If you think they don't have problems, talk to an executive.
Problem. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. In the problem, what most people don't realize is, for example, you give that pitch, or that's your 30-second message, right? The problem that you're trying to solve may be different in the executive's mind or whoever you're talking to. Because you're trying to go for a specific role. They go, oh my gosh, I have this other problem. Deanna's the perfect fit for it.
Yeah.
And how often does that happen? That's happened many times for me, actually. Because all of a sudden, it's like, I need you in house, but I need you to do this instead all the time, right? And that's a great compliment on that part. So it's, again, what you're passionate about. I think that was great. Be able to further enhance that. Again, it's also practice, right? If you want to see yourself, of course, you have the replays here. So you've got this, you see this. There's all the ways to do it. We have these little things called phones. We do little video recordings all the time, right? Yeah. Do that. Practice on it, because we're our own worst critic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So being able to do that, because when you see it on screen, it's like, oh my gosh, my facial expression's like that. I need to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one thing, because we always say go in the mirror, and the mirror is another way to do it too. But typically, if you record it, it's like, oh my gosh, I need to see progress. This just isn't working. Or if you want to send it to a friend, for example, if something happens, it's like, okay, send it to me. If I text me, it's like, I'll say, okay, here you go. That feedback's a gift, right?
It's important, and it's good, because if you're just doing it yourself, like one of the things that I've encountered is any customer that does like self-assessments of maturity, they're never accurate, because you always have that like personal bias when they're encountering those, right? But get the help of peers and friends, because they will, and they're really good friends, right? They'll be honest with you and show them the recording, because there are things that you'll see and that you'll hear, and just little nuances, right, that other folks will pick right out. Maybe you can't pull them out because you're so used to them, but other folks can help with that. There was another point too I wanted to kind of tack on there, and that had to do with, for those that are having trouble like making the pitch, making the approach, saying what you need to say, for whatever reason, stage fright, shyness, etc. If you take a moment and tell yourself, what I have to say is way more important than my apprehension around saying it, right? Then you have an opportunity to push yourself over that hump, if you will, that obstacle, and get your message forward, present it, and then just be ready, be ready for everything. Certainly, life should have trained everybody enough by now to be able to handle rejection, But yeah, I think that's a really important point to make too. If you're going to be doing your pitch, you've got to get that message through, because the whole point is you want it to lead to opportunity for yourself and for the opportunities there might be to solve things and reduce pain points and solve problems for the person you're talking to.
One of the things I noticed with me is that sometimes my thoughts just cross through my face before I realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
My example that I learned earlier in life is someone was about 12. He was giving me a pitch about something that I really wasn't too sure was right. And then all of a sudden, the thought in his head must have said, oh, she's buying it. And all that happened was this. Just that half little smile. And I said, you're lying to me. But he didn't go, no, Mama, I'm not lying to you. He goes, oh, how could you tell?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a very mature response from my son. So that's why I learned how thoughts cross your face.
Yeah, I've never.
It's that personal expression, right? You have to. Some people have great poker faces.
Mm-hmm.
There's good to that, and there's bad to that.
Yes.
Right. Because you also will be authentic, especially with pitches. Right. Be authentic, because they're expecting you to be authentic. Because if you're not authentic, your reputation's on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never, even in the elevator pitch, try never to overstate what you've done, but make sure I state it as correctly as I can, because I need to work there, and they need to see who I am. And most of us are the same way, because we do this so long. We see problems that are sitting there that have been staring them in the face, and they don't know what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually somebody's attitude. But that's
well, exactly. And that's one thing I want to comment on is whenever you think about your pitch, also tailor it to the conversation you either had or the research you've done on that organization.
Yeah.
Right. If it's a financial company, say, here's what I've seen financial companies typically are struggling, and they want all this, but your IT group doesn't know how to put dollars and cents towards the finance group. Right. That's what I help with. I put the dollars and cents to IT. So you actually can make sense. So, I've got FinOps. It's like, well, FinOps is great, but I've been doing way before FinOps.
Yeah, but FinOps is just one particular segment. It deals with offsite resources. Your servers, if they were in-house, is one thing. That would be your infrastructure.
Exactly.
But if you're going to pay for and lease servers from the cloud, right, that's specific to FinOps.
Yes.
Whereas overall financial operations in IT, though, is much broader than that. And I think that that's what we're speaking to there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you can show your value, you can use some of the buzzwords they're already used to hearing. You incorporate and say, I can help you connect those dots. They're going to say, I'm all ears because I don't have time to fix it myself because I'm being pulled way too many directions. If you can help me with that, you're a godsend, right? There's something to be said for that. So, and you can get some of that information. Just look at their 10Ks, right? The financial statements. You'll have the goals and objectives. You're going to know what it's already in his mind or her mind, right? It may not be the CEO. It might be the CIO. It might be a manager. And say, okay, but here's what to realize with the manager. If you're going to give that pitch to the manager, which is also important, right? The manager may not know what the goals and objectives are for the organization.
That's common.
Yep.
It's extremely common, right? As we get so busy doing our stuff and our busy work, it's like we know 10Ks are out there, right? But we don't pay attention to them. Oh no, get Deanna right back.
She'll be back hopefully soon.
Yeah, she's right here. There we go. But I'm just using it as an example because when you start thinking about the bigger picture and you understand what that is, you're also educating them. Because they might say, why'd you read that? Explain it to them. You just open that conversation. You're beyond the elevator pitch at that point.
Yeah,
right?
I tell you. I had a customer that I researched, and I specifically needed to go out and read the 10K because I wanted to understand what the potential scope of the engagement was going to be. Now, of course, when we met and we had our first discussion, I clarified, or rather I got them to clarify to me exactly what the scope limitation was for the engagement and what they intend to do beyond that, right? But thanks to having that, I understood the exact number of business units that could potentially be involved in this engagement. So that was crucial. It was a good learning experience too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. So for example, if I'm talking to energy companies, I had this one thing happen. Sometimes you never know where you're going to hear asset management as a topic.
Yeah.
I had a CEO talk about asset management. He was on stage.
Really?
A CEO of a major energy company. And I'm at this conference. It's actually kind of a trade show type of thing. It was Atlanta, a technology trade show, and I had this executive in there. Actually, Southern Company. I'll just go ahead and say he was the CEO of Southern Company, which is a major for the Southeast. It's a major energy company. Yeah, now, and he's just talking away. Okay, what keeps him up at night, et cetera. And he was being interviewed. And I'm here having lunch with all the folks, and everyone's just kind of chitter-chatting. We probably had about 600 to 800 people in the room just doing that part. Again, I'm showing up because, okay, I had a free ticket, make it happen, go see what's going on. It was probably during COVID, so I was able to get out a little bit because I love doing conferences. I'm chatting and meeting people. I know nobody there. Nobody, right? And all of a sudden, I'm out of my ear. I hear the executive talking. He says, and I hear what keeps him up at night. He says, asset management.
Yep.
Everyone else is chattering. They're going, it's like, oh my God, I was glued. You never hear a CEO talk about that, right? And he says, that absolutely is my problem because we have grid problems. I need to make sure I know where all the assets are. I need energy assets across the board. I need to know everything. Exactly. I need in detail about it. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm just using it as an example. You never know where you're going to have that conversation. I did not get the opportunity to meet him because he's probably has security detail, et cetera, which is fine. I wasn't trying to do that. But my point behind that is I can leverage that story with my elevator pitch. So I'm not talking to another executive. He's like, you know what? I know you have a problem. You know why? And the executive of Southern Company says you have a problem without you ever saying it. Because he has a problem. If he has a problem, I know you have a problem. I also did projects for TVA out of Tennessee. They have problems. I was doing asset management there. How can we further fix it? You don't have these problems, right?
Every company has a problem. That's why they're hiring us.
Mm-hmm.
And
they recognize it.
Yeah. Leverage your knowledge of knowing how to fix problems.
Well, it's not just fixing the problems, but being relatable. Because if you're able, that point, you're doing more than just an elevator pitch. You're connecting. That's what an elevator pitch really is. You're trying to figure out how to connect on their terms. And that's the part we always forget about because we're scared. I'm scared, just as scared as anybody else at times, right? For example, Tony Robbins shows up. He's taller than me. I don't know what to say. It's like, hi, you're big. I don't know what to say, right? But he's a great individual. It's like, okay, Tony. But do I have things I'd love to talk to him about from a personal development? Absolutely. They have the opportunity. It's like, how can I help you? Because they always ask that question.
Yeah.
And you can never be prepared as much as you think you're ready, always ready for that moment. You're never ready for that moment. You just have to be prepared to say, you know what? Here's what first comes to mind. I'm stumped a little bit, Tony. It's great to see you. Yeah, you're a little overwhelming to look at because you're 6'7" or 6'9". Yeah, I think he's huge. And it's like, it's great to see you. Great.
He's 2 feet taller than me. One of the things I like about the genre is that nobody really knows how little I am until you stand next to me.
Yeah, I love it.
I like the phrase from The Big Bang Theory. It's homunculus.
Yeah.
Homunculus is a perfectly formed miniature human being.
I would say you're small but mighty.
Yeah, well, that too. I've literally done this. When someone's having a major problem with me, I'll go get a stepladder or a chair, stand on it, and go, okay, now pick on someone your own size.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
eye to eye.
So I have a little more leeway in how I handle people because of that. But when I got that stepladder out, okay, now pick on someone your own size. Don't be looking down at me.
You know, Bill, there was something that you just talked about in that example when you were talking about Southern Company's CEO. And the thing that kind of popped out to me was around 10 years ago, right? There seemed to be a really strong emphasis on asset management, but not IT asset management as it is, but rather in energy and infrastructure and critical systems asset management. Huge. I did an interview with a municipality down in South Florida around that, and came at it from an IT asset management standpoint. But infrastructure asset management is huge, and primarily because of risk to hacking and meddling, for instance, in drinking water systems and wastewater systems, etc. So those fields, they are related, and in a lot of ways, they have the same areas of concern. So since you brought it up, I figure I wanted to put that point out there for everybody. And by all means, expand, go learn about the energy infrastructure and the water infrastructure and understand what asset management means to that world. Then you'd be able to make that pitch to Southern companies, for instance.
Well, exactly, because you have to expand your focus, right? We all put blinders on, but we have to realize that as asset management folks, and if you don't do this, okay, here's a lesson for you, right? As asset management folks, we have to keep ourselves focused as part of the blinders, but we also have to keep our ears open.
Yes.
Because we never know where a risk is, potential opportunity for improvement, new stakeholders, new opportunity to say, oh, there's a new initiative happening. I need to pay attention to that, right? You're not eavesdropping, right? You're just paying attention to that. And I want to say that's also true with the elevator pitch. Because they're going to say, why do you need to be part of this? There you go. There's your elevator pitch, right?
Right. This is why. This is where I fit. This is where I can help you.
Because everyone's looking for help.
Yeah.
Just as if you're listening to this right now, you're looking for help. Okay, or maybe you didn't realize you want the help in there. Here you go. But we all need help in different ways. If you can show and demonstrate how you have help because you can talk about what you do and articulate it clearly and crisply, that makes sense for me, and crisp. There you go. Right? And also, the other part is smile, right? Because we all, as IT folks, we get very serious. We keep, just straight line. I don't want to talk to anybody. Keep the straight lips, right? No, smile. Enjoy it. Show that you enjoy it. Because people want to see that. Whether it's on video or in person, doesn't matter. Show that you really enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, they're going to say, oh, wow, it was pretty boring. Let's go to the next person. He or she, whatever. Just a little thought on elevator pitches, but it's also important to keep for elevator pitches. Again, clear mind, articulate it, modify to the moment, and be persistent, authentic, right? So as we go through this, it's being able to say, what else can we do? How else can we help? Right?
Well, good.
Yep. Yeah, we had actually had one just come on. Somebody's looking here on screen, and Coyote. I love that name actually. Says, "Yeah, we all need help." I love the statement. We all need help. Absolutely. And being able to do that—that's the whole purpose why we're here. So with that, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there what else comes to mind that we can help you with? Because we know we can pontificate all day long. We've learned we can do that, right?
Yeah.
But where do you need help? Because this is it's kind of your session, and we're kind of doing a working session. We have other viewers here. But where else do you need help? What comes to mind?
I do have a problem, I guess, with understanding how I am letting you know I can solve your problems or get people together to resolve your problems. That's more of being a team player. I love being in management, but I don't treat myself as a manager. I think I've lost a couple of jobs because I gave everybody else credit for what was going on. Okay. That's part of my background as a teacher. All right. And so I that's literally something I could probably don't want to say. But I give credit where credit is due.
Actually, what I like about what you just said, it's authentic. It's real. You actually were talking about some of your, I wouldn't say mishaps, but how you didn't communicate extremely effectively. Right. And said, I've done this. I gave other people credit. That's a lot better than what I see today in today's world most of the time. Right? So there's a lot of authenticity, and you're also being vulnerable. That's the word I've been trying to think of. My brain's not talking. Vulnerability is huge, right? Because I want someone that's honest and they make a mistake. You know what? That's on me. I'll fix it. I need to work with such and such. It's okay.
I wrap myself before somebody else does. If I do something wrong, I will wrap me out first before you hear it through the grapevine.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's just, that's a demonstrating ownership of whatever it is that you're working on. Absolutely. And there's a lot there. A couple of things that you've both said so far. They relate so much to the human connection. Even the message from Coyote, that everybody needs help. So if you go forward and you put that in front of the group, or you put that in front of the CIO and say, look, I need some assistance in this area and some expertise that I don't have. But once we have it, though, we can go forward to a solution. So you open that up, you present that vulnerability. Contrast to that is you're trusting the person that you're presenting that vulnerability to, that they will actually help because it's to their benefit as well. So that all those things around the human connectivity and around helping each other, I think they all speak, greatly and can probably lend well to those kinds of encounters.
So, I want to say there was a different perspective as well as to your question, Deanna. And I take it as you didn't want to brag.
Yes.
Two more bragging, right? That's kind of, so we hit one angle. I'm going to hit it from the bragging side. This is your opportunity to brag.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is your opportunity to brag a little bit, but be modest about it when I say that, right? Some people can be too egotistical about it. I've done all this. For example, we can say we've done 30 years. People say it's impressive. It's like, guys, that's nothing.
No.
I mean, I toned it down immediately. It's like, okay, it's impressive to you. That's great. But I can also say from the 30 years, 30 years, I still learn new things every day.
Every day, yeah.
What you're talking about. That totally made it relatable to your point on the bragging side, right? It's like, I can tell you stories all day long, but it may not fit you.
Yep.
And some people will get offended by that. It's like, you're the wrong person for me. Other people, it's like, I like you because you're being authentic, because there is no perfection in this world.
No.
Mhm. Yeah.
So again, this is your opportunity to brag and maybe say, okay, you know what? I dealt with 50 guys that didn't want a female in the room,
Yep.
right? And I got them to understand how to be cheerful and say, okay, I get it. I understand the material and I have no problem with this. I was previously biased. I'm no longer biased.
Yep.
Which you did multiple things in that messaging. Now, I curtailed from what you told me previously, right? But that's an important message, right? If you're able to have that team building, you have all the odds against you, arrows and darts being thrown at you and stared, etc. And you're saying, you know what? Okay, we're going to deal with it anyways.
Another line I use, I know how to deliver the hard message.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one to use. All right, put a star next to that one. Okay. Because at one of my jobs, they knew when I walked the floor, somebody was leaving. And my manager didn't like to do that job. So he would come with me and put me in front of him to do that job. But I would explain to somebody exactly why. I wouldn't just say, hey, you're out of here. The reason this happened, you should never put a mailbox container in a delete folder because you created a major incident and you erased 1,000 higher echelon of a bank and shut them down for 4 hours. And then you have to listen. I don't like tit for tat. So this person started, well, look at the date stamp here is at 3:30. I wasn't even in the building. So I was kind of calm. I said, so you telling me even something worse, that you gave out your ID and password to someone? And then I said, we are in Houston. This company works on Eastern time. You were in the building. And so I don't like to just walk anybody off the floor for no reason. But if that's what I need to do, that's what I need to do. So.
No, that's good. That's good because when you start thinking about talking facts, which is all you've done,
Yep.
you have to have them own up to their from an accountability perspective, and some people won't do it.
Yep.
And
but I have a feeling you should have done that.
Yeah, it happens. Now you have to make a judgment call how you're going to deal with that. Everyone's a little different, right? For example, last company, I saw a lot of improprieties as far as them picking on females.
Yep.
It was that kind of company, right? Am I going to go back and talk about everything? No. Did I defend many females? I did. Because I didn't have the belief that they did as far as, okay, we're going to pick on them. It's still real, as an example, right? And it's like, guys, no, we're not doing this. Just not, you can eliminate my job. I'm totally cool with it. But no, I'm not going to tolerate it. I have zero tolerance for that. Yep. And the society has zero tolerance. And to your point, sometimes you have to be that heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Totally went off topic a little bit, but it's important if you have that conversation in the pitch or whatever you're doing. That's part of your messaging that you need to divert out there. Say it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not easy. None of this is easy, right?
That's why we're discussing it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, impromptu speaking, like what we're doing right now, this is literally impromptu speaking, right? Hardest thing in the world. 99% of the world will not do this. 99.5, right?
Unless they have a script in front of them or something to follow instead of just listen to what somebody says.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm not saying you shouldn't have references when you speak to that. Again, back to the pitch, right? What's our passion? What's driving us? Right? The people, the process, the technology, the data, the governance, how it all flies together, right? What drives you? It's like, I'm not a mundane guy.
Right.
That's not, and it's not saying we don't need those people in the role. And I'm not trying, anybody's that way. I'm not trying to ping on you, right? I like change. I like to look outside the box to see what else is out there. I like the creativity and working with others, making that happen. All key words, right? All being able to say team building, creativity, enthusiasm, the drive, being in the spirit of what it is. I want to bring this to the entire organization where they trust this data source. I want to be that trusted advisor for the entire company. things like that. That's huge. Now, you can see people may take some of this video. It's like, we're going to wordsmith and throw AI. By the way, we're having an AI session tomorrow. If whoever hasn't seen it posted yet, we're having AI tomorrow. But and say, okay, we're going to figure out for our own elevator pitch. Leverage it, but be honest about it. Right?
Yeah.
So, great point. Definitely toed on some of your successes. Some of them are the human element, as far as you're doing that, Deanna. It could be training.
Yeah.
It could talk about disposal. It could talk about the value you have. Sometimes dollars and cents happens, depends on who you're talking to, right? Those are all successes. And you could probably bulletize that for a couple pages if I was to guess.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
It's just being comfortable to present it and say it. What else comes to mind, Deanna?
I guess just me within my own personality. I like to be humorous, but I also know when not to joke around. And that's a big point, because I'll see some people joke around. I see things through from a larger point where some people, one of my ex-husbands would get to the one point where he thought it was funny and didn't care how he hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that a lot in business as well. Well, I'm the manager, you have to listen to me. Well, I'm a human being, and if you're telling me something that doesn't work right for me, I need to express back to you how you're making me feel. Yeah, that's hard, isn't it? Because they don't want to hear it. Even in I've been helping out at my church, and yesterday we had Ash Wednesday, we had a collection, and me and the music instructor were going, oh, they're putting the baskets on the edge, no one's going to see them. We knew if we put these 3 tables out and put the baskets on the table, we would have had a much larger collection. Well, my manager goes, I don't care, I've been doing this for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know how to work in a place that is not with continuous process improvement. If you don't want to improve, you don't want me. Ooh, I'm sorry, I got to write that down.
Yeah. I was going to say, ask him, how's that worked out for you for years and years and years?
It's kind of like through the line for me.
You have a way, it's going to get more. Can we try it?
Can we try? Oh, no, they shut me down.
See how it goes.
So I'm used to being shut down, but I also know that, okay, I can write you back. I know you called, and I can follow up with an email saying, I understood we had this conversation. This is a point I was making, but I sincerely understand your position.
And we're always going to have those people. It's important. This is an important point that you're bringing up. It's always important to realize that we're always going to have those type of critics.
Yes.
Out there, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can just take it at face value to say, okay, somebody does it. On the other side, it's like, you know what? It's me.
Yeah.
This is me and my style.
Yeah.
To your point on the demeaning and the jokes, you're right. You do have to be careful in that, and that's a whole separate discussion on that part. You're right. But more about, you also want to be back to being authentic, right? Let it be authentic you. Someone else being a critic, and that's manager, et cetera. It's like, I mean, I said this to a recruiter just yesterday. I said, I may not be a fit. I want to make sure I'm a fit before I go to the organization.
Yeah.
I want to submit your resume. It's like, I want to know I'm a fit first. If I'm not a fit, I'm not just don't want to be there. And sometimes that's hard as well, right? Just being honest like that. And I put out there, he's like, well, we're going to do this, and et cetera. It's like, no. It's like, we need to have a conversation for me to even think about it, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, something right in front of me. Sometimes you don't know what dust is going to come in front of you. But being able to be again, the authentic, and the spirit. Now, keep in mind the enthusiasm. And look through. We have 3 different personalities here on screen, right? 3 different demeanors. Not demeanors, but just profiles. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
There's high, kind of high, medium, low. There's nothing wrong with any one of those.
Right.
Well, okay, so we won't go too badly. And so just pick no, but it's all good. But we have fun with it, right? It's being able to say, how can you be authentic to yourself so you're authentic to others?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, and so let me drill into that a little bit more. It's also being able to say, how do you believe in yourself and what you've done, where you've been? And I say that being authentic because if you don't like where you've been, say, well, I can't go anywhere. This is all I've done. And maybe you've just been an administrator. Okay, great. You're an administrator. But he says, but I want to go here. It's like, well, tell me why you want to go there.
Mm.
And be authentic with it. No, don't just make stuff and read stuff. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go make $1 million or go to the U.S. or something like that. And I've heard this from different cultures, right? It's like, yeah, but that job description is not the same in the U.S. as it is in different countries, right? Doesn't just, you can't just sign up and all of a sudden you have money.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to make it a monetary discussion, but it's more about how you apply yourself, right? Because if you have the right enthusiasm, et cetera, you can be the mailman at the bottom of the totem pole for the entire organization, literally the mailman, putting out mail, and be the CEO within 10 years these days, depending on how you look at it, right?
There are cases like that, yeah.
Well, they told us in broadcasting, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And they said, if you can get your foot in the door, even as janitor, you're in the door. And that's important. One of the people I went to school with, his uncle helped start Fox News, and he thought he'd make more money cleaning pools. Yeah, we all went, oh, can I be your nephew, your uncle's nephew, or your uncle's niece? Because we were all trying to jump at that, and no one got it.
Well, I'll use an example. So you brought broadcasting, so thank you for doing that, right? Anybody ever heard TBS back in the days?
Oh, yeah.
Broadcast, right? Ted Turner.
Yep.
That's how he got started.
Yeah.
Outside the norm. Knew his pitch, put it out there. That's how CNN was created back in the day. Yeah. Can't say we have to think of it the same way we did then, but you got TBS is still around, TNT, the Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
That's still Turner Networks, right? Thinking outside the box, right? So it's about that messaging, how you do it at the heart. Go ahead, Rob. I'm not trying to hog it.
No, it's totally okay. Just bringing back memories from like TBS stuff. That's all.
That's how I learned about the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, that was cable.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the Atlanta Braves. I was actually in Des Moines, Iowa 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Just having a bite at a Chick-fil-A. It had been a long day. On several different fronts. I just needed some food. I saw this guy sat down in the restaurant, a Braves uniform, Atlanta Braves uniform. It's like, and I'm from Atlanta. So it's like, oh, from Atlanta? He says, no, I'm here. It's like, do what? He says, but I'm an avid Braves fan because on Turner Broadcast, I've watched TBS. I knew the Atlanta Braves better than anybody else. I knew better than the Chicago Cubs. So he's a huge fan. And he was a government employee, which didn't really matter. But he's like, it's all I had a chance to watch. So I watched TBS. You know why that all happened? Because Ted Turner said, I'm not going to do the norm of my broadcasting, be one of the first out there and start broadcasting baseball. And he just happened to own the Atlanta Braves at the time.
Yeah.
The cultural and media icon, yeah.
I still don't think he should have colorized Young Frankenstein, though.
I totally agree. Or a couple others, but yeah, there's a couple of them. Yeah. But I leverage that as a story because our elevator pitches, that's what helps us become us.
Yeah.
And we get, as asset management, software asset management, configuration management, we don't think about this. We think about interviews, applying technical skills, but we don't think about the human element. We don't think about our element.
We should, though.
I agree.
Especially if you're trying to get buy-in, for instance, from a variety of silos. I've experienced with this too. across some 22 divisions at the time within the agency I was working within. The big challenge there was to overcome this obstacle, which was the acceptance of IT and how you say the acceptance of their processes, because they seem intrusive, right? But with the understanding that ownership is different than the motions themselves of the processes, right? That was one place where I was able to bridge that gap, and I was able to get consensus among all of the representatives of these divisions. And once I had that, and I had that buy-in, then it was acceptable. The term was simple. The software, hardware, et cetera, everything's owned by the cost center, right? But in order to defend this entire agency, we need to know where it is and that it's not out of compliance. And so the first step to that is we need to inform each other. We're not going to control your purchasing or your purchasing ability, but when you do a purchase, we simply need to have it on a roster. We need a list. And that's how it starts right there. And that's how it started. And then from there, it grew into a great set of relationships with each of these different division representatives. And there was a great deal of trust now. Exactly.
See, trust is not there. Trust you have to learn. You have to spend experiences with somebody to trust them. You're not just going to automatically trust me because I have a title.
Right. And nor should you.
Exactly. Yeah, that gets me in trouble.
Well, it is, and it's interesting we talk about the titles because you're absolutely right. People are stuck on titles today.
Yep.
For me, I don't care about title.
Yep.
I'll be me. Me's my title. Yep. Right? It's not being egotistical. It's just like, I just want to be me. Right? If you can be your own self, otherwise your own me. And I didn't say meme, I said me. M-E. Okay.
Right. M-E.
And you have that conversation and you be able to make it more relatable. That's, again, and people see you enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's huge. And maybe you want to improve your speaking skills because you're stuttering too much or things like that. We didn't even get into some of that because we're actually, Deanna has a broadcasting background. I actually have a little bit of broadcasting background. Rob, you have some additional leadership background. So we've gone through some of this. But if you need help in that part, we mentioned Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a great place to get your skills and further enhance that ums, ahs, et cetera. And everybody goes through it. I have a few that get caught up on me every once in a while. I'm still part of Toastmasters even today, right now. My meeting's happening in Atlanta in an hour. I can't be there because it's in person today. But I love going to it. It's like, really? It's like, I absolutely do. I get feedback.
Yeah.
And they're amazed. It's like, I was actually talking to some of them yesterday because I just haven't done a regular presentation, Toastmaster. It's like, yeah, I haven't done it, but I have fun just showing up.
Yep.
And that's what shows, right? Especially in your elevator pitch. We're going to bring it back to core here. Your elevator pitch is about you. It's about you, how you look at, how you express yourself, how you communicate. What's that concise message about you? And from there, because your elevator message may be nothing about ITAM. Again, mine's I love bringing people to go collectively together to go the next step for success. Right?
Yeah.
I just had to be around ITAM. It's a hobby that pays. And people go, really? It's like, it is. It's literally a hobby that pays, right? And I have fun with it. And everybody sees you just want to light up, right? It's like, I absolutely have fun with it, right? It's never boring.
It's so much work to be boring.
Yeah. Okay, you want to talk about Australia, you want to talk about England, you want to talk where you want to go to different parts of the world. We all struggle with the same thing. Mm-hmm. They go, you've been around? It's like, I have. Well, you've been a lot. It's like, sort of. There's still more to go. Mm-hmm. Right? So as we wrap this up, because we're at the top of our hour again, first question I need to ask, Deanna, is, has this been helpful for you?
Yes, this has. And gentlemen, I do want to thank you for your feedback and us talking about the discussions. Extremely helpful. Today I have a full page of notes.
Yes, I have something like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep the books around.
I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Rob, any wrap-up comments that come to mind for you?
Yeah, like and share this, spread it around. Let's extend that discussion out to other professionals. And the elevator pitch is one of those things I think everybody needs to have wrapped up, have it memorized, like it's been said here, practice it often. Feel that it's important so you could push over any obstacles to getting that message across. Because the idea is this leads to that next thing that you want. So, put that degree of importance into it and respect it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And it's being able, as a kind of just wrapping that up, is being able to say, I've got this.
Yep.
We all struggle. We're going to struggle. If you need to be around community members of like minds to do that, like I said, we've got like the co-op in the background, and become part of a membership of somebody that's going to help you in that part. There's some free stuff out there, but I'll also say you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen on many different forums. And some things are, anyway, I don't want to get into, I'm going on a tangent on that one. I'm going to try not to. But be part of a community that is going to help you go that next step. That's the important part, kind of in closing. And not everybody does. Somebody look up their own personal interests. But being around a community that cares, that's the whole idea why we're doing this ITAM Kitchen, right? How do we put that next step? It's not about the freebie stuff. It's about helping you grow, but you have to apply yourself to make that happen. Because without your own application, the rest of it means nothing. Mm-hmm. So have yourself a great rest of the day. I wasn't trying to be on a downer note with that, but being able to say, how can you inspire yourself?
Yes.
What's that? What lights your fire? That's the whole idea behind the elevator pitch. What's lighting that fire to make it happen? And inspire yourself, because you have to push yourself. You're the one that has those dreams. You're the only one that can achieve it. Not me, Rob, or Deanna. We can help you with that, but it's not our dream. So what's your dream? How are you going to talk about that? How are you going to go to that next step? With that, we'll call it closure for today on the ITAM Kitchen. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about more AI, that artificially intelligent, and how we're going to talk about how we're looking at some of the tasks that we can actually eliminate and automate with it. So we're going to talk more about that. See you next week and make it happen. And thanks, Curtis Paul. I appreciate that too. And congratulations on your new role as well, Curtis. I did see that recently.
That's right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, everybody, and you have yourself a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
See you tomorrow.